Good evening, happy Valentine's Day, and welcome to the Haunted Chronicles. I'm Mr. Haunted, my co-host Terry Todd, who's not feeling well tonight. And if you're listening, get better soon, partner. Our guests tonight are Joe Adkins and Tracy Rowsey from Awakening Radio. Joe and Tracy were nice enough to invite me onto their show a week before the Haunted Chronicles debuted on Friday the 13th back in December. It was all 2 months ago. And Awakening Radio can be heard on paramaniaradio.com on Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Some of their past shows, subjects covered UFO, Bigfoot, mind control, time travel, the Jersey Devil, and the list goes on. Last night's show is about the Phoenix Lights, and I'll talk about that later. But Joe and Tracy, are you there?
Yeah, we're here.
We are here, buddy.
Okay, thank God. All right, if anybody has any calls about anything, the number is 919-295-0150, and our operators are standing by. Page one's done.
All right, Joe. Right in front.
Page one.
Dave's messaging. We have a special feature here on Haunted Chronicles, Joe and Tracy. It's called Scary Movie Celebrity Birthdays, and it's everyone's favorite feature. And what we do is I find people that have a birthday this week, and they appeared in some kind of scary movie. And sometimes we have some great ones, and sometimes we have slim pickings, and this week's pretty much slim pickings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a celebrity, and you're going to guess how old they are this week.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and people in the chat room, participate if you want.
I'm not watching because I don't want to cheat.
Yeah, I'm not going to write it in there. All right. Our first celebrity that appeared in Sliver and Flatliners, Billy Baldwin, celebrates a birthday this week. What's your guess on him?
I'm going to say 49.
54.
Very close. Very close. 51 years old. And so far, I had a little buzzer ready when somebody gets the birthday right, and I haven't used it yet. And I didn't even bring it with me. But hopefully one of you guys...
Get ready.
All right, you getting ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Paris Hilton. You know, there's one scary movie that I'm sure you all seen, but that's not the one I'm talking about. This one was called House of Wax. She appeared in House of Wax, and she celebrates a birthday, and she is how old this week?
God, it seems like she's been around forever. What a psycho. I'm going to say 30.
Anything else? I guess
34.
Wow, she is 33 years old. Good job. And how about this one? If anybody remembers the movie The Haunting, the original from 1963, which spawned like 10 different haunting movies, Claire Bloom was the star of that one. You want to guess how old she might be?
Oh, wow. That's all you, Joe.
The Haunting. Gosh, I remember that movie too. 51.
I'll go 55.
Okay, we're gonna add about 30 years to that. Claire Bloom is 83 this week.
Holy crap, she's the crypt keeper.
And I got two more for you.
I'll tell you the only reason that I guessed that age is I didn't know who the hell you were talking about.
Well,
No, me neither. And I was just feeding off of Joe. So, that's just kind of how we roll.
Sometimes I really got to stretch to find a scary movie that these people have been in, but so far so good. How about Benicio del Toro from The Wolfman?
The original?
The one that came out a couple years ago.
Oh.
I was going to say the original Wolfman. That guy dead.
Yeah, I was going to say that dude, he'd be famous for two things, having a birthday and still being alive.
I feel bad for the chat room because they're still on the Claire Bloom birthday. Sorry, guys. We're a few minutes slow.
All right, go ahead. What is
I don't have a clue.
All right,
I'm not even close.
Benicio del Toro will be 47 this week. And one of my favorite top 10 actresses is Jennifer Love Hewitt, who starred in The Ghost Whisperer and the movie I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh,
did
yeah.
all kinds of things last summer. I was kidding.
I'm going to say 32.
Wow. Anyone else?
Oh, let's see. She's going to be right around 30.
She is to me 35 years old.
Holy moly.
Looks good for 35.
I agree.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites. All right, and now that's the end of our scary movie celebrity birthdays. I love getting rid of the mess on my desk. Guys, since there's a bunch of subjects we could talk about, and also if there's anybody that'd like to call up and ask Joe and Tracy questions, our number is, I threw out the piece of paper. Help, guys.
919
295 0150. And Dr. Dave wrote it right in the chat room for me. Thanks. Please call up with any of your questions about UFOs, crop circles, conspiracy theories. If you want to talk about President Obama, anything.
That seems to be one of our favorite topics.
Yeah. All right, what I wanted to start, because since it's Valentine's Day today, I wanted to get your guys' take on a lot of our kids in school have been getting these letters home that says, please do not address Valentine's to particular people. Just write from Heidi, and then you just make 18 for the class and pass them out, so no one's excluded from getting Valentine's. Do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea?
I think it's total bullshit myself.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, it's
it's
just another part of the way. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I'm sorry for the little kid that didn't get a Valentine. I mean, everybody can't be loved on, but come on. It's just like the kids playing Little League Baseball. Even the losers get a trophy.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to blend into, the participation trophies.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me want to up. It's horrible. Everybody's a winner. That's just the way it is. I've coached baseball for many years, and we don't always win. And that's the truth, man. And I mean, you want diversity. You want somebody to be able to stand on 2 feet. You want somebody who could be able to handle something that hurts their feelings. Not everybody's a winner, and not everybody gets a trophy because you're good. It's part of dumbing down of our society that, hey, yeah, here's your trophy for trying. No, that's not how it works. If you don't get a trophy, that means you need to try harder and prepare yourself for failure. That's half the problem with us in this politically correct country, that, everybody has to feel, they can't ever get their feelings hurt. And it's just crap. If it's actually good for your psyche to get your feelings hurt every now and then.
Yeah. I mean, where's the drive to succeed or excel if you get a trophy no matter what you do, just for showing up? I mean, I played baseball for 7 or 8 years as a kid, and I sucked. But when we won the championship one time, it was a whole different feeling that I actually earned a trophy. And I don't know. So,
well, with that, I mean, that's also just, that carries on into your, adult life, even in your adult life where, just because you show work doesn't mean you're a good employee, that's the part of the say it, Joe, participation. Yeah. I got snow on the brain because we're expecting 3 to 5 inches tonight. So, but I mean, and there's no, that's why we're raising a nation of twinkle toes now. Everybody's, so political correct to the point to where they're afraid to say what they actually mean. And it's skirting around and dancing around, just be straightforward, be honest. And I promise you, even though your feelings are hurt today, it will work out. I promise you.
Well, here's another thing too, going on with that, where it also works into adulthood. Well, actually not adulthood, but these little kids now popping out these babies left and right. Oh, I don't worry about having a job. The government will take care of me and mine.
Sure. Give me my apartment, my cell phone, and, it's insane.
Give me my free cell phone, my food stamps, my check every month. I keep popping out these babies, and the more babies I pop out, the more money I get.
Okay, but look, if you look at it if you look at it in the text that it should be used in, if you lose your job, you fall on hard times. That's what that's for,
Exactly.
And I don't look at that as a hand out more than a hand up. I mean, especially this time, day and age, there's a lot of people out there, hurting financially just because of the way our workforce is today. But what kills you is when folks are on this thing generational. When your mom was on it, your parents were on it, now you're on it. More than likely, your kids are going to be on it because you don't strive to do better. Now, with that being said, I mean, I also know that jobs today that are, well-paying jobs where you can make a living, that's tough. It's even tough for two people working in the household, to make a living. It's really tough. But and it's a catch-22. They've got it now to where it's almost more beneficial not to work. Mm-hmm. Which how it comes at voting time. Well, this particular party is giving me this, where this one wants to take away this. And they've got it. It's set up that way for a reason.
I have a question from the chat room. What do our guests think of the guys from Finding Bigfoot? I know you had some guests on, some Bigfoot experts.
You want to take that, Joe?
Do you think he exists? Are they going to find him? What do you think?
Well, they can't find him, where the show would be over. If they'd found Bigfoot and they'd have one big finale and it'd be over.
Right. And if there is a Bigfoot out there, and I'm not saying there is, I'm not saying there isn't, you're definitely not going to find it by tromping through the woods with a camera crew of 10 people with really bright lights on. It's just not.
Well, I mean, if everybody remembers the shows, like Monster Quest and shows like that, I mean, okay, these shows are made to make money. They're not, they're not going to find anything, and they know that. Just because of the sheer amount of people that's involved, and like Joe said, I mean, people are tromping through the woods with lights and talking and everything. The odds of seeing any kind of creature, not just Bigfoot, with that, it's probably slim to none. But I think in the beginning that these people were true and passionate about what they were doing.
Here's something else.
It's like, well, you think our buddy Don Neal, there's nobody more passionate than trying to find this thing than him. That I feel, and he truly believes that they're out there, and he does it, with a small group. They're not loud. They don't have a camera crew, but like say just for instance, Chris Moneymaker. There's no doubt in my mind that when he first started, he was really, truly passionate. And I believe he probably still is. But now I think it has moved towards more of a money thing versus actually, following your passion.
Well, as far as just solely entertainment value, it's good entertainment. I don't put a lot into the shows, but, as far as something to, I don't know, give you something on a Friday night when you're bored, kind of flick on there and watch it. It's kind of like the ghost hunting shows now. It's the same way. A lot of them are scripted. A lot of them are set up.
Well, and also,
one that I'm tangled up with now is the Appalachian Outlaw Show. How scripted that show is. My God.
I haven't seen it. I don't watch much TV anymore just because I'm so disappointed.
It's about a bunch of folks in West Virginia they hunt ginseng, the ginseng root. And
the mythical creature of ginseng.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of, these guys are fighting back and forth over territory in the woods. And it's just, I've seen 2 episodes, and the second episode that I ever seen, it was so scripted that, I just had my face in my hand. And so now a guy on that show and myself we're in this big Facebook bickering battle right now over how scripted their show is. So, yeah.
Well, and I mean, if with the scripted part, I mean, and it goes back to the money thing. These these shows are made to make money now, and that's just the way it is. I don't know, man. That's it. That's all I got.
I got to give the guys credit because on all the ghost shows, the producer says there has to be some kind of activity for it to be a show. Like something always happens, even if it's one little EVP or one thing. At least Bigfoot, they don't always have him run back in the background somewhere to fake a sighting.
And I also think it may be, we've had this fad with this ghost thing now, for 10 years now almost, maybe a little more. And I think you can slowly see it dying off. You still got your diehard fans, and that's cool. I mean, but the fad you can slowly see is starting to die off. And I think eventually the Bigfoot thing is going to do the same thing. But that doesn't mean that this creature doesn't exist. That doesn't mean that, the EVP you got didn't come from another, dimension or a spirit. It's kind of interested to see what the next craze is going to be.
Well, on that note, if anybody knows, you can go on the demand section on Paramania and listen to old programs. And Joe and Tracy had me on as a guest even before Haunted Chronicles started to help me promote my show. And we, it's on the record that we invented Finding Chupacabra, if you remember correctly. So that's on the records as if the show that we're working on is Finding Chupacabra. And it's
on
ours.
top of that, Joe has invented a new word that he has used quite often. Actually, we've talked about copywriting it, and that would be the word douchebaggery, which he uses quite often when we talk about, government conspiracies. So I have to applaud, Joe for inventing a new word.
Wow. That's his own word.
It's my my inventive language.
Of course, not right unless you say it with an Appalachian accent.
Dave, do we have a phone caller? I think we might have a phone call coming in.
All right, let it rip.
Let me see. Oops, yeah, we do. Stand by. And then hopefully this will bring us till break. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's a shame we only got an hour. This could go on for quite a while.
I'm lucky I could do this for 5 minutes. Okay, we have a caller on the line, and I believe it's Chad from Kentucky. Chad, are you there?
Yeah, man. What's going on, Jimmy?
Chad.
Is this Chad-a-Reno?
This is Chad-a-Reno, man.
What's going on, buddy?
How's it going, fellas? I had some you mentioned Finding Bigfoot. I didn't know if you guys were aware of this, but it was just announced yesterday that this will be the last season of Finding Bigfoot.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that.
They must have found him.
Yeah. Apparently, they've looked everywhere they were going to look. So,
well, they have been around the world.
Maybe they just run out of sponsor money.
But ratings are decent on the show, I guess, from what I hear from some people in the Bigfoot community, that it's the personalities of the people on the show, difference of opinion, and it's been like, I guess, a miracle to keep these guys together without killing each other for this long, and they just can't do it any longer. So I wouldn't be surprised to possibly see that show reincarnated a year later under maybe a different name with some different people.
I could see where they would have personality conflicts, especially with two of the members. I could see where that would be a problem.
Oh, yeah. Chad. Well, I mean, you've got laid-back, easy-going Bobo. Yeah, Jimmy.
Do you have a show on that you could talk about? Is there a show that you do?
What? Oh, my show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I have
shameless plug, Chad.
When's your show on?
Thursday nights. And
I believe
8 p.m. right before Awakening Radio.
Wow, what a great double bill.
Dave just sent us a message in the green room and said the next show will be called Finding Linda Ronstadt. That's funny, man.
I think they should do one called Finding Bedbugs, and they should just go all over the country and go to real expensive hotels until they find some that's got bed bugs.
It wouldn't be hard to do.
I've got one that I can go to right now, here locally.
But,
it's called the Shangri-La.
Oh, God. Those bed bugs would carry your bed away down there, brother.
The Shangri-La, I kid you not.
Or we could do a haunted combo, haunted bed bugs.
Is there really a hotel in Kentucky called the Shangri-La? Come on, are you
Yes,
pulling my leg?
Yeah, it's right here in town.
It's no longer a hotel now. It's like an apartment.
You know what's funny? Joe, Joe lives in Grayson, Kentucky, okay? And it doesn't matter what I'm looking for or where anything. And Joe say, "Oh yeah, we got that in town." That place is the freaking Mecca of the United States. It has everything.
I think me and Joe live about 4 minutes apart.
Yep.
We was raised about 1 minute apart.
Yeah, we were, Chad and I were raised about a mile apart, and
we were.
After all of our travels in the last 30 years, we've ended up about 2 miles apart still.
Yep.
I was raised I was raised a mile apart from my parents. They just kind of left me in the house and did their own thing.
Kid, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Before I take off, guys, I do want to remind everybody about one thing about Bigfoot that's a little bit different than some of the other cryptids, like the chupacabra and all this. The thing about Bigfoot that I always found intriguing was he's been reported on it. He's the only cryptid to be reported on every continent, besides the North and South Poles, but and he's also spoke. I mean, he's as soon as hieroglyphics, as soon as cave paintings, there was Bigfoot paintings. So it is kind of a funny thing that there is a lot of history with Bigfoot. So I've been slow to write Bigfoot off just for that reason alone, right there.
Well, I tell you what, I actually found out something last night. I talked to Tracy about it very briefly, but Tracy and I have been invited to go to the Ozark Mountains.
Yeah.
To do a Bigfoot hunt. Don't know if we're going to go or not, but we've been invited to go.
Yeah,
well,
I would really love to do that.
Right now, I'm formally inviting you guys right now to go chase Bigfoot in the Daniel Boone National Forest with me. Mm-hmm. So there you go. You don't have to go to the Ozarks. We can do it right here at home.
Actually, you know what, Chet? We maybe have something together with Don Neal. We've been trying to get together with him as far as doing a hunt in the western part of Kentucky down there. There's a lot of activity down that way. And, we're trying to get something set up with him this spring.
Yeah. So we may end up getting in and just kind of tagging along with the BFRO for a couple of days.
Hey, guys, we got about 5 minutes. I got one more phone caller. Can we get to him before break?
Hey, Chad, see you, buddy.
Get off here. Jimmy, great show, brother. It was nice talking to you, and I'll be listening in the chat room, man.
Thank you for calling in. He hung up.
Tired of waiting.
Chad, leave. Kicked Chad off, and the caller hung up.
Patience, my friends, patience.
He said, "F that." Okay.
All right.
We got a few minutes to go, and that would have brought us perfectly to break time. So, guys, right. We have let's see. I'm getting messages from Dave here. Oh, sorry about that. Could you tell us a few a few about the shows you have upcoming or past shows, so people know what your show's about?
Well, we've got some pretty cool past shows. See, the thing about Joe and I. We usually don't know what our next show is going to be until like Wednesday, and our show airs Thursday. That's just kind of how we do things. But yeah, we got some great past shows. I mean, we talk a lot about government conspiracy. We talk a lot about stuff, just things like FEMA camps, and how our government is keeping us under their thumb. How the FDA keeps the importance of the GMO food information away from us to, in my words, just kill us. I mean, to just once again keep us, under their thumb. We talk a lot about how we're getting closer to a police state in this country, and how, people, if you don't know your rights, the police will know your rights, and they will use that against you every time. So yeah, we just kind of throw shows out there like that, and then occasionally we do a ghost show or a Bigfoot show, or we're kind of into all of it.
We're gonna get. Actually, I have a few of those after break. We're gonna get to. You guys are gonna love the subjects I got.
I
think
we're the only. Are we the only conspiracy show on the network? I think we are. Aren't we?
Well, I think several of them maybe touch on it, but we kind of, that's kind of our thing.
I think we're kind of deep in it, really. I mean, that's kind of what we started out being in the first place. For the most part, is conspiracy, and then we'll hit on the paranormal every now and then, but yeah, I think it's what we do mostly. We're all just
definitely go on demand. Check out Awakening Radio. We got many past shows on there. Some are really good and some are good, but check us out, man. You may like us, you may not. Either way, give us a try.
Either way, you guys have always have interesting shows, and I listen to all of them because you don't know what you're going to get. Like a box of Valentine's chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. Anyways, we got 30 seconds left, guys. 30 seconds.
Okay, well, here's the funny thing. Usually when Joe and I start our show on Thursday nights, both of us have already,
10 seconds.
hit the bourbon a little bit. So usually by halfway through the show, it gets better.
All right, we got... You're listening to the Haunted Chronicles. Our guests tonight are Joe Adkins and Tracy Rowsey from Awakening Radio. We'll be right back after a quick break. And welcome back to the Haunted Chronicles. And this is time for our shout-outs for the people in the chat room. We have David Irish, Dr. Dave, Paramedic, Lydia, Chad, Dead Dude. We have Tracy, of course. We have Cousin Ann. We have Debbie D. We have Joe. We have Kara, James, Tanya, Spaniel, Carla, Maggie. Wow. Amy, Karen, Tiffany, Susan, Jim Mallard, Anna, Desiree, Teresa, Laura, Fishman, Heidi G, and Barens from the Netherlands is listening to us, and Frankie B, and Valerie, Holly, and Heidi, and Terry and Anna. Happy Valentine's Day. And
welcome all.
And that is our shout-outs for the day. Any of you guys want to shout out to anybody for Valentine's?
If I don't do it to my wife, she'll kill me in my sleep. So, Tammy, happy Valentine's Day. 17 years, be 18 years next month.
And no more balloons and candy kisses.
Please, no, not at work.
All right. I got a couple. Any questions from the chat before I start something new? I might have missed stuff. The chat room is moving really quickly, so if you have a question, there's a couple things in the news that I wanted to. Oh, about the Phoenix Lights. Could you just touch on you had a guest last night that talked about the Phoenix Lights, which I never heard of, and I was researching today, and it's an amazing story. If anybody doesn't know about it, go ahead, Joe.
What was it, March 13th, 1997, over Phoenix, Arizona, about 10:30 at night. Folks started noticing lights over Phoenix. And it was put off as military flares, as the military was doing some maneuvers in that area. And that was quickly dismissed. As it drew closer to the city, they realized that it was a craft roughly 2 miles wide, moving slow, kind of hovering, no noise whatsoever. Large, it was either a triangle or a boomerang shape. We get conflicting stories, so we know it was a 3-sided craft. Other than that, that's really pretty much the entire story. It kind of hovered and flew over Phoenix for a total of about 2 hours. Got over 10,000 sightings, and that's pretty much it. I mean, you didn't hear a whole lot about it after that. The guest we had on last night was Dr. Lynn Katai, and she's actually a medical MD that has a practice there in Phoenix, and she wrote a book about it. Of course, it's called The Phoenix Lights, and she goes and does speaking engagements, and she tours all over the country for whoever wants her to come and speak. Very knowledgeable about this subject. But yeah, it was just a thing that was kind of swept under the rug, and over 10,000 people seen the thing. The mayor of Phoenix actually, he said he saw it at one time, and then he done a public announcement there, and had a person dress up in an alien costume and come up on stage with him. They were kind of poking fun at it, and he's like, well, I really didn't see it.
They said they found the culprit, and this guy come walking out, in this spacesuit.
I just think it's weird the way they try to jump on it so quickly and dismiss it like before an investigation. They already know the answers. When I was a kid, I think I told you guys I saw one in the 70s that everyone on the street just stopped and watched this craft hover over, and then we called the police when we got home, and they said, oh, that's a blimp. Like they already knew in the 70s without the internet, without, it's amazing they called, all the government agencies and everything in 1 minute and knew it was a blimp that we're all watching.
Well, the interesting thing about it is in 2007, I'm pretty sure it was in 2007, the mayor actually really, I did see it.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing with that. In Indiana, a few years after that, the police, the Indiana State Police, and it actually went over into Illinois law enforcement, they actually followed a craft like that for several hours until it got out of sight, and 911 went nuts in Indiana. So the cops kind of got after it, and they were following it, and it was documented. It was on the police dash cam, police radio recordings through 911 center. So, I mean, something's up. The craft has been seen all over the world. So, something's going on. It's either us or extraterrestrial. I mean, it's one of the two. It has to be.
Before I forget, I missed two people, Austin and Paul. Sorry, fellas. Go ahead.
Welcome.
That's all I had about it.
I got a couple things that were in the news lately if you guys want to talk about them a little bit.
Sure, throw them out there.
Did you hear about the boy that was interrogated and suspended after voluntarily turning in his toy gun at school?
That happened a few months ago, didn't it?
Yeah, this one was it's a quick paragraph. In yet another case of zero tolerance insanity in schools, an 11-year-old boy was interrogated without his knowledge of his parents and then suspended after he accidentally brought a toy plastic gun to school. What makes this stand out is that the fact that sixth grader Caden Cook actually knew he shouldn't have brought the toy with him to school and noticed it in his jacket and voluntarily turned it in and saying, hey, sorry, I forgot to, I didn't mean to bring this to school. And he brought it to their attention. And instead of using common sense, the school freaked out and subjected him to interrogation and intimidation, threats and accusations and lying, and he was suspended from school. Yeah, you got a pat down and all that. A 11-year-old kid.
That really don't surprise me at all. It's like the grade school in Utah a few weeks ago. They went to the lunchroom, and they had some of the parents hadn't paid the lunch tab for the kids. Now, how it is here, you pay the lunch tab ahead of time, and then as you dwindle your money down, you'll replenish that fund. It's kind of, it's kind of an ongoing sort of thing. Well, there was several parents that hadn't replenished their child's lunch fund. So after the kids had went through the lunch line, got their lunches, they sat down to the table getting ready to eat, and school officials actually went into the lunchroom, found the kids that didn't have any money in their accounts, took the lunch away from them off the table, and threw it in the trash can right in front of them.
Yeah, that happened in front of the entire lunchroom.
That happened to my coworker a few weeks ago. His son, he's a kindergartner. He made a nice meal on a tray, and the guy got to the end of the line, and they dumped it in the trash in front of everybody and gave him a salad.
Wow.
Everybody out there, well, this is my thing, though. Everybody out there in radio land and listening audience, if you can afford it, send your kids to private school.
Yeah, really.
If you love your kids and you can afford it, okay, take your child and send them to a private school and get them away from this Common Core bullshit. Get them away from it. Get them out of the public schools as far as you can get. Just my opinion, but if you'll actually sit down and do the research for yourself, and and if you have got any common sense to your head whatsoever, you will see that this public educated Common Core crap is exactly that. It's crap. It does not teach your kids anything whatsoever. And it goes back to the dumbing down of America. They don't want your kids to know anything. So there it is.
Exactly. And I can take that just a step further. You know, Joe, I spent many years doing a lot of history work. I've got, my degree is in history. And about 2 months ago, my grandson come home and told me what they were teaching him in school, and he knows it's wrong, but that's what they're telling us to pass these tests. I know that's wrong, and it's truly the dumbing down of America. They're teaching you just enough to get you past these tests, so they can the public schools can get their money. And school has went beyond education. It's now, it's just like everything else. It's money. I promise you, if a school wasn't getting money, those teachers wouldn't be there. Those principals wouldn't be there. Those fancy schools wouldn't be there. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Well, here's something else too. In the school district that I live in, if your child is allowed to miss 3 days unexcused, okay, so that's 3 days without a note. Anything more than that in one semester, you have to have a note from the doctor. Now, if you don't produce that note from a doctor, you'll get two go-rounds with that. And once that's surpassed and they miss the third day without a doctor's note, you go to family court. They'll turn it over to family court, and you go to jail, or you get fined real big.
And I can add to that, if anybody will really look closely at this Obamacare thing, this is a part of it. Believe it or not, this is actually part of it.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's something else. I see in the chat room, Dead Dude, they say homeschooling. Okay, I agree with that. Homeschooling is a good idea. If you can do it and you've got the time, it's an absolute great thing. In my opinion, it is. But I will tell you something about homeschooling. If they catch you homeschool, it's not against the law to homeschool your kids as long as you send that paperwork into the state like you're supposed to. But I will tell you something. I've read article after article on homeschooling. If the school district finds any little thing that you're doing,
they just had this case in Texas. Remember that article you sent me, Joe, about the family in Texas?
This is what I'm getting into that. If the school district finds something that they don't like what you're doing, they will send Child Protective Services to your home. They will confiscate your kids, put the kids in foster homes, send them on to public school, and they will prosecute you. And be damned if you'll get your kids back. Now, what happened here in this particular instance in Texas, the lady had a few foster kids with her own kids, was homeschooling them, got on the wrong side of the school board. They sent Child Protective Service. They took them. They actually kidnapped them, because there was they found no proof or evidence or any reason to have taken those kids. That family wasn't doing anything wrong, and they done all their paperwork like they were supposed to. They taught the curriculum they were supposed to teach, and they still went in there and took those kids. So that's kidnapping, okay? So what was it, like 6 or 7 kids? Yeah. So there's 6 or 7 cases of kidnapping against the state right there, okay? Now, that went on for 2 months before they finally got the kids back. Now, if that had been me, I would have prosecuted that as far as I could prosecute it, and I would have seen those people hung from the highest tree for trying to come in and take my kids. That's just total crap, and that's government bullshit. That's what that is. That's big government. And, guys, I'm telling you, you're letting it happen. The general public is letting this crap happen, and they won't do nothing about it. They're turning over. And that's my story on that.
Well, and that's just a drop in the bucket as far as, what our government's doing to us. Like I mentioned with this Obamacare thing, I mean, people don't realize that they have I know they have you to the point to where you either have to take it or you're going to get fined. And I say that in quotes. It's not a tax, so they say. But, there's little things in that they're keeping from, the public, as far as when you sign up for that, you have signed over the rights to your children for the slightest little thing.
You better read the fine print. If you sign up for that O-Care, that's what I'm going to call it, O-Care. I won't even say his name because he's an illegitimate president in the first place. And if you take that particular health care plan and you take the time to read it, get off your lazy asses and read it. Tracy is right. You sign over the rights to your children if you'll read it. Period.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also given the government, the ability to have the right of ending of life. No matter what you say, no matter what the doctor says, if the government says, hey, okay, you're 60 years old, your kidneys are shutting down, you've had a heart, it's time to, pull the plug, even though the doctor's saying, hey, you may have, 25, 30, 40% chance of living. It gives them the right to say, no, we don't think so. Let's just pull the plug. And people don't realize that. And with, you go back to your kids, when you sign up for this thing, and it gives them the right to take your kids over the slightest little thing. You could go out on your porch and, and I do it all the time. I cut grass. It's hot. I sit on the porch and drink a beer. Well, if my neighbor, reports me, then they have the right to take my kids from me sitting on the porch drinking a beer. If you smoke, if you go out on your porch and smoke, all they got to do is make a phone call, and they'll come and take your kids. And believe me, it is that simple. That's what they're trying to get to.
Yeah. And if you take your kids to the doctors ask your kids, do your mommy and daddy own guns, and is there guns in the house? That's their business. Exactly.
And I've had that happen to me. I went to a doctor and they asked me if I owned a gun. Well, what the hell's that got to do with me coming here for my tooth? I may have guns. I may have a lot of guns. In fact, I probably have quite a few. But that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, I may have an RPG, but it's none of your business.
Exactly. In my mind, this is still America, I have the right to do that. I have not committed no crime. Nothing keeps me from owning what I want to own like that. So why is a doctor asking me, I'm getting my blood pressure taken, and do you own a gun? Well, what the hell's it to you,
Okay, looks like, who is it, Heidi G?
Heidi's freaking out. She wants a ghost story. Do you guys have any sightings or interesting stories from when you were kids or anything?
I had one happen to me 2 weeks ago.
He's got a ghost in his house.
Tell us about that quick before we sign out here.
Okay, I'll give you a real quick one. This happened to me 2 weeks ago. I actually get up around 3 a.m. to go to work. My son in his room has a nightlight, okay? And as I was walking, and I walk through there every morning. And this particular morning, I walked by his room, and I seen a shadow by his bed, okay? But I had already passed his room, so when I stopped and actually looked back into his room, this shadow shot from my right to left straight across in front of his bed, and it actually blocked out what it was going in front of. But that's just one of many, many things that, happened here to me. But the way me and my wife look at it, we've had this thing for probably 15 years in this house. We actually had this house built. Nobody's lived here but us. And as long, the way we look at it, as long as it's not eating me or beating me in the middle of the night, it can do whatever the hell it wants. We're not going to bother it as long as it, doesn't do harm to us. But I mean, I've got, tons of stuff that happens, but what's really funny is, I've never feared or been afraid of it. But you always see, these little shadows. We see a white figure in our hallway quite a bit. You'll hear doors close, open, TVs come on and off, computers go on and off, stereos off. I mean, it's just, little weird things like that.
I had a doppelganger in my house about a month ago. Got up one morning to get my daughter for school, and I looked in the kitchen. I seen my wife standing there shaking her vitamins out of the bottle. And I thought, so you can get my daughter up. I'm going back to sleep. So about 20 minutes later, I got back up. Nobody got my daughter up, so I went and woke her up, get her ready. I come back into the living room, and my wife's standing there shaking vitamins out in her hand. And I said, why didn't you get her up 20 minutes ago? And she goes, I just now walked in here. So, go figure.
Nice.
That's kind of creepy.
Guys, we got 3 minutes left, and there was so much I wanted to ask you about. I wanted to tell you quick about the Woody. Did you hear about the little kid that had a Woody doll from Toy Story and had a little toy gun in the holster? And the London's Heathrow Airport confiscated the toy from the unruly passenger.
Well, haven't you heard that, all of the latest youngsters are, people who are considered domestic terrorists in the country?
Yeah.
You see, that's how our government's turning it, man. I mean, you can get a speeding ticket, and now it's domestic terrorism. Everything is domestic terrorism. And that's how they use these strange and weird laws that they keep passing. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy.
We got a call. We have 2 minutes left. Do we have a call, Dave? No time for the call. I'm sorry. We're probably going to have to wrap it up. But we could have went on for 3 hours, guys. We're going to have you on again. And,
sure, I'd love to.
We're going to have a part 2.
I want to thank Joe and Tracy for joining me tonight and wish Terry a speedy recovery. Joe and Tracy can be heard on Awakening Radio on Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. A lot of you people had a lot of questions, and if you listen to their show, you'll get them answered. And it's only on paramaniaradio.com. And upcoming shows are next week. Everyone's been begging for me to talk about one of my personal stories, so I'm going to talk to you about a house I investigated. And the case is called The Case of the Missing Muffins. And it's the first one of its kind, I think. And it's going to be very scary. And on February 28th, we have Bill Hall, author of the soon-to-be-released book, 966 Lindley Street, The Most Witnessed True Haunting in History. And on March 7th, a 2-hour special exploring urban myths and legends. That's going to be a hoot. So, on that note, Tracy and Joe, thank you very much.
We'll do the shameless plug for our Facebook page.
And I put a few links in there for your Facebook page.
Cool.
And I don't know if
smash the like button. Facebook.com.
Let me try to do it again.
Awakening Radio Show.
Awakening Radio Show.
Mm-hmm.
Look that up and smash the like button. And I believe that's it. And thank you for listening to the Haunted Chronicles. And good night.
See you, everybody.
See you guys.
See you, fellas. See you next week.